WrestleRanters, welcome back. Long time no see. I haven't been on WrestleRant since last Monday with my WrestleMania 28 review. I'm your host with the most, Bleacher Report feature columnist level 2, Graham J. Matthews, here today back for everything going on in the world of wrestling. Everything from Monday Night Raw to this past Tuesday night's SuperSmackDown Live Blast from the Past, as well as last night's fantastic edition of TNA Impact Wrestling, going forward to TNA Lockdown this Sunday in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, I am super excited for this Sunday with TNA Lockdown's pay-per-view. The card looks so strong as hell, and I cannot be any more anticipating it than I am right now. Now, I don't want to go through every segment on Raw, SmackDown, Impact this week. That will just take me an hour. And since we only have 15 minutes and less, 15 minutes and counting, then I do want to go through the major points of each show and just express my opinions on each match. Now, starting with Monday Night Raw, Brock Lesnar and John Cena. I am absolutely loving this angle between these two. Lesnar's return, I marked the hell out for that last Monday night. Now, I know I haven't been able to film a WrestleRant since last week, so this is the first time I am publicly not acknowledging the fact that Brock Lesnar's return was absolutely hot as hell, so I am fully on through on that. But anyway, Brock Lesnar versus John Cena looks like an excellent program, and I'm certainly looking forward to this in weeks to come. Lesnar felt a little overexposed on Monday Night Raw, but his shot to Cena to kick off that brutal brawl between the two, to kick off the show, was absolutely phenomenal. That was legitimate. It was bloody. It was perfect, and I just love that. That just made the show for me, because everything else after that was complete crap. So I did not enjoy the show. I didn't enjoy anything else in that show. But Brock Lesnar on this show was certainly the highlight, and I am looking forward to the match at Extreme Rules. Now, I do think it's a little bit early to have Brock Lesnar return to the ring after 8 years at Extreme Rules, but John Cena versus Lesnar will definitely make up for that in the buy rate. So one can only hope that Brock Lesnar stays fresh up until that point and up until WrestleMania 29 when he'll eventually be leaving, apparently. So anyway, Lord Tensai, I kind of like this character. His matches bore me. He's defeating people that no one cares about, so maybe that's why, despite the Albert chants and E-Train chants and all that good stuff. But anyway, I like Lord Tensai. Hopefully he'll be able to have a good feud with CM Punk in the near future, but until then, he needs to, get some significant victory so he can get some real heat from the fans and not A-Train chants or Albert chants, which is what we saw this past Monday night. So, Punk and Jericho, I liked this segment on Monday, but it was much of a rehash from last week, so I didn't like it all that much. But Punk versus Henry is a good feud for what it's worth on Monday Night Raw, and I'm looking forward to the no disqualification match next week. But one has to wonder, don't you think they would have announced Jericho versus Punk for Extreme Rules by this point? I mean, it's their WWE Championship match. So either they, A, do Punk versus Henry at the pay-per-view and save Punk versus Jericho for a later pay-per-view, which I don't think they should do, or B, do Punk versus Jericho at Extreme Rules and have, say, Jericho face the winner of this next, the title match on this upcoming episode of Monday Night Raw. I say that's the smartest decision because they have yet to announce a title match or Extreme Rules besides Lesnar versus Cena, so they need to do that ASAP despite Sheamus versus Daniel Bryan, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So, Santino Marella and Brodus Clay, I like this formation of their tag team. Marella doesn't need the U.S. title, so I think he should get rid of it. But I don't like the fact that Dolph Ziggler, I almost said Brock Lesnar there for a second. Ooh, that wouldn't have been good. But Brock Lesnar, I just said Brock Lesnar again. Why am I keep on thinking about Brock Lesnar? I mean, Dolph Ziggler took the pin this past Monday night against Brodus Clay. But I do like Brodus Clay getting a push finally. But Dolph Ziggler definitely needs to rise up in the ranks if he wants to be considered a legitimate shot or a legitimate contender for the WWE Championship in the near future, which I really hope he does because he is the future WWE Champion. Now moving on, Cody Rhodes and Big Show. I don't like this feud. They need to end this now. It was entertaining before Mania with Rhodes video packages, but now that Show is continuously destroying Rhodes week after week after week, they don't need him to continue to embarrass Cody Rhodes. It's pathetic. They're burying the guy, and Cody Rhodes is a future World Heavyweight Champion, so he does not deserve this kind of treatment. Now, Cody Rhodes can certainly move up in the ranks in the World Heavyweight Championship picture, but I don't think they're going to be doing that anytime soon, maybe this summer, but maybe not as soon as this May or June or whatnot. But what I'm afraid this is leading to is a rematch at Extreme Rules and Big Show buries Rhodes again, and successfully retaining his Intercontinental Championship. It pains me to say that because I do not like Big Show as IC champion. I don't like Big Show, period. But I mean, you got to give the guy some credit after being with the company for 13, 12 years, something like that. But so I guess he deserves the IC title. He doesn't need it, but hopefully he has a short reign. He either drops it back to Rhodes or he just drops it to someone else ASAP and just retires because I do not like this guy whatsoever. But Three Stooges on Monday Night Raw. The segment was complete shit, to be honest with you. But it was fun enough in the fact that the Hulk Hogan impersonation was definitely priceless. So I do like the fact that those guys got, I guess, sometime with Kane. They were able to get chokeslammed by Kane, or one of them was, the Hulk Hogan one was. But I didn't like the fact that when Hulk Hogan's music hit the arena, nobody reacted whatsoever. Now, I love Hulk Hogan and whatnot. I mean, in WWE, that is. Don't get me into TNA. But I love Hulk Hogan's music so much. I was marking the hell out when it hit the arena, but nobody else was marking out, so I was a little disappointed. But anyway, Monday Night Raw this week was definitely a disappointment and a letdown after last week's epic show. The crowd wasn't certainly into this week's show, so maybe that played a factor into it, maybe. But Brock Lesnar, to say the least, was the highlight of the show. And maybe they'll be able to improve it next week when they go to the hot crowd and hot environment of where they're always putting on good shows in London, England. So moving on to Super SmackDown Live, Blast from the Past this past Tuesday night. They had all the legends from the past, including Roddy Piper, Pat Patterson, Piper again, Tony Atlas on the show, Dusty Rhodes, all those good guys. The only thing I liked about the show was the Piper's Pit. Now, Daniel Bryan, AJ, and Roddy Piper played their roles to perfection here, so I absolutely love that segment, but that was the saving grace of the show because everything else in this show is complete shit. I mean, I love the legends and all, don't get me wrong. I was marking out when I saw Hacksaw and Sergeant Slaughter and Dusty Rhodes and all those guys, but the roles that they played were meaningless and just felt like a feel-good show for the casual viewer, not hardcore fans that actually want to see some real wrestling and not a rehash of an episode of NXT or Superstars. But anyway, as I said, the only real highlight of the show, if you're going to go back and watch it, was Piper's Pit. It's on again tonight, so if you're going to watch it again tonight, Piper's Pit is the best way to go. Orton versus Kane was the continuation of that feud was good, with the fact that he attacked Randy Orton's father on this show, which I guess played nicely. The role played nicely since he was already on the show from the Blessed in the Past gimmick. And Henry versus Orton was a good match. Nothing mind-blowing, but they definitely put on a good match. Hopefully they can end this feud at Extreme Rules because I know a lot of people are getting sick of it. Now, just to comment on two new stars on SmackDown, Damian Sandow. His former gimmick was, I think, Idol Stevens on SmackDown or Raw in a tag team with Casey James or something like that. I'm not too sure. I wasn't a wrestling fan at the time that he was on television, so I don't know anything about this guy. I didn't watch him in FCW, but I am impressed by his video packages and vignettes. Hopefully he brings something to the table, and I did read the FCW guys only get called up when there's a plan in place for their character. So I am excited about that. And speaking of FCW guys and being called up, Ryback, a.k.a. Skip Sheffield, is finally back, and I cannot be marking out any more than I was last Friday night when he finally came back after, I believe, what was it, since last August. So that was 20 months ago, 18 months I think it was. I'm not too sure. I can't do the math off the top of my head. But it's surely been tongue twister here, hell of a long time since Skip Sheffield has been on television. So I'm certainly anticipating what they're going to be doing with him on his debut on Friday Night SmackDown. So as I said, Blast in the Past, completely shit. Don't even bother watching it unless you want to see this Piper's Pit segment because everyone in there was intense. And I'm loving these yes chants for Daniel Bryan. And adding to the fact that Piper here was very, very strong here, as well as adding the fact that Sheamus versus Bryan in going into Extreme Rules in a couple weeks is going to be epic. So I'm really looking forward to that match, as well as more from Daniel Bryan in coming weeks as this new intense character after breaking up with AJ. So skippable show. Now moving on to TNA Impact. If you want some real wrestling for this week, I say tune into TNA Impact. This was definitely the show of this week as far as WWE and TNA goes, because they furthered every match on their show. And I don't want to go into the matches on the show because all the matches were strong, all the promos were strong, and I'm just going to go instead into my TNA Lockdown prediction, so with the time that we have left. Morgan versus Crimson, a feud that has been building since last October/November. Their match at TNA Turning Point 2011 was very, very sloppy, so I don't have high expectations for this match quality. But I do like this feud. Crimson as a heel works for me. I'm certainly looking forward to what he can do as a heel. Morgan, on the other hand, really needs to get over this speed bump of getting into interesting storylines. And hopefully, maybe if he defeats Crimson, he'll maybe finally become relevant again. I certainly hope so after contending for the World Championship multiple times in 2010 and early 2011. So Morgan really needs to get off this feud with Crimson, just end it here. As far as my prediction goes, I'm going to say Crimson picks up the victory. No, I don't want to say Crimson. I'm going to have to go with Matt Morgan. I'm going to say Matt Morgan ends the streak here, and that's the end of the Crimson streak going forward. Gail Kim versus Velvet Sky for the TNA Knockouts Championship. Now, I know Velvet Sky isn't the best wrestler in the world as far as women's wrestlers goes, but she is gorgeous, as well as the fact that her birthday is the same as mine on June 2nd, so I find that also awesome. And she's also from my same home state of Connecticut, so that is also really, really cool. So we're both Gemini, and she lives in my home state, which is really, really awesome, despite the fact they bill her from the Big Apple, which disappoints me. But anyway, moving on, this match will not be anything special, but I do see Gail Kim retaining here, and then Velvet Sky picking up the victory, or winning back the championship on a future pay-per-view or something like that, because I do think that Velvet Sky deserves one more chance with the TNA Knockouts Championship. So another awesome match on this card would be Magnus and Samoa Joe defending the World Tag Team Championships against the returning awesome tag team of Motor City Machine Guns, and I could not look forward to this match any more than I am right now. This match looks to be awesome, awesome, awesome. Motor City Machine Guns looked great last week, and I'm certainly looking forward to what they bring to the table this Sunday at Lockdown. This match is going to be great as far as the result goes. I'm going to say Magnus and Joe retain here, but Motor City Machine Guns pick up the title victory at Slammiversary. Now moving on to Devon versus Robbie E. Nobody cares about this feud. Personally, I'm a Robbie E fan, and they had him drop the title to the lackluster Devon, in my opinion, at TNA Turning Point last month, and they haven't furthered their feud since, on television at least. Maybe they did it on Explosion. I don't watch Explosion, so I wouldn't know. This match is going to be, whatever, nobody cares. But I do see Devon retaining the championship here nonetheless. Jeff Hardy versus Kurt Angle, another feud that hasn't had the best build-up, but the match itself will be excellent. Because I know their match at Victory Road last month was absolutely very, 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 very strong, and these guys have the capability of stealing the night away if it's not for the World Heavyweight Championship match, which I'll get to in a few minutes. But anyway, Jeff Hardy versus Angle, as far as the match result goes, I'm going to have to go with Jeff Hardy here after Angle won via Dirty Tactics at Victory Road. Now moving on to Team Garrett versus Team Eric. The storyline behind this, Eric Bischoff versus Garrett Bischoff, I haven't liked it thus far. I mean, it doesn't extremely annoy me to great lengths as it has for other wrestling fans, but it has been mildly entertaining with the inclusion of AJ Styles, now Mr. Anderson, Rob Van Dam finally returning on to Team Garrett. So the match quality looks really, really good, but I definitely see Team Garrett going over here. It's very, very predictable. As much as I want Team Eric to win and have Garrett Bischoff off television forever, I don't see that happening, sadly. And now moving on to the World Heavyweight Championship match, Robert Roode versus James Storm, the feud they've been building towards since last November. Everyone's been waiting for this match ever since then. This match is going to be very, very good, I hope. And I know this match is going to be the match of the night. I am certainly looking forward to this match. Robert Roode versus Storm. It has the history, the chemistry, it has everything a part of this match to steal the night away and to become one of the best matches of the year. One can only hope, but I do see James Storm winning the TNA Championship for the first time since November when he lost the title to Bobby Roode back in November. So I'm really, 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 really looking forward to this show, and hopefully, certainly delivers on my high expectations. Now moving on to my shameless plugs, you guys can follow me on Twitter at @Sam_us_GSM. Visit my website at nextwrestling.weekly.com for all the WWE, TNA rumors, recaps, and more. Check me out on Bleacher Report, Graham GSM Matthews, and on Spoilers Podcast tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Time with Martin Casillas from WWE Tough Enough for exclusive interviews. So thank you guys for listening and watching. And don't forget to subscribe above to my channel for all the latest videos and whatnot. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoy your weekend, as well as TNA Lockdown if you will be tuning in. So enjoy your weekend, guys, and this is GSM signing out. Until next time, guys.